We'll cover all that. Get ready for week two. I got 6 o'clock. Let's roll this thing.
Let's tear the band-aids off, baby.
It's game day, baby! Let's go!
Welcome, everyone, to NFL Nation Live. This is our week two show. I'm Ref Guru along with Wayne Mabry, also known as Violator, the Hall of Famer, and the legendary captain, Jack. Welcome, everyone, to week two. It was a crazy one. A lot of stuff to cover, a lot of stuff going on. We'll open the chat here in just a little bit, keep it real. When we get to the Raiders game, we'll try to keep it clean, but I know there's a lot of frustration out there. We'll try to sort it all out along with everything else. But in the meantime, before we give everybody a chance to get in here and get going, V, what are your quick first thoughts, my friend?
Gentlemen, quick first thoughts is that the Band-Aids have been ripped off. This is the real deal. These games count. Let's get busy. We're already down 0-1.
Yeah. And actually, I know it's 0-1 on the books, but it feels like 0-2 because we lost within the division. So
Absolutely.
I know the chats are coming in. We'll get you online here in just a minute after we roll our secondary intro. But I know everybody's ready. Cap's ready. V, are you ready?
I'm clocked in, brother. Let's go hit something.
I got my fingers taped up, brother. Let's
Love
go
it.
hit something.
Love it. Here we are, week two, NFL Nation Live. Welcome, everybody. Ref Guru, Violator, Captain Jack here. We're getting ready to clean this up, get ready for week two. I'm going to open up the chat room. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. I think when Ed finally comes in, I think he got his T-shirt, V. Thanks for sending that out. If Jay joined us, your mug's been ordered. We'll get that out to you. We're going to give away another item tonight. We didn't actually talk about that in pregame, y'all, but maybe we'll give away a book or something. Anyway, Buffalo went into Los Angeles to take on the Rams. Rams were not ready to play. Buffalo looks like they are angry, like leftover from last year, angry. I don't think the Dolphins probably are going to have to, take the champagne off the ice or anything. But, man, this Bills team looked dangerous. We might be talking about them for a while, y'all.
You know what I liked about that matchup? I don't know who put it together and what they thought, but the world champion Rams got their butts handed to them in front of their home crowd.
To
see the I'm gonna use the word grit from Detroit. That grit that Buffalo showed, that's gonna be hard to beat coming down the stretch.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Cap, did you get to see any of that game? What stood out for you? I think for me, Buffalo just went out there and took it to them. I think that I think the Von Miller component, we talked about this last week. Maybe it was a factor because he knows the Rams. Maybe it wasn't. But I can tell you, Von Miller fits the Bills defense better than he did the Rams defense. But I think it was for me, it was the issue of the Rams. This is a Super Bowl champion team, Cap, that only scored 10 points.
Yeah, I was going to say I think that I'm going to break my arm, pat myself on the back, because I really did say that Von Miller was going to be a difference maker, and he certainly was. And
Cap going on IR with a separated shoulder.
Separated shoulder. That's it. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about Miller. I said, no, my doc says that I have a pulled rotator, but that was from the doctor I saw today. Anyway.
No HIPAA laws on this show. Yeah. Okay.
The Bills defense, they had a good defense last year. Then you add Von Miller.
Yeah.
I will say I missed a lot of this game because I worked late in order to get into it. But then I did my show, so I was keeping an eye on it while I was doing my show. but it was
Yeah.
such a blowout that
Yeah, it wasn't really even close, was it?
no, it wasn't close at all.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the Rams are going to have to get it together. I think they'll bounce back this week at home against Atlanta. They're lucky that they open up at home early now that they have the loss. I'm not sure that maybe will help them later in the season. Now that they've had 2 home games, but we'll see if they can bounce back. We'll get to that. Kev, Ed, welcome everybody to the show. The Saints went into Atlanta to take on the Falcons. This is a Falcons team that we thought might be a little bit better with Mariota, and I think they were. The problem is in the second half, just like in the Super Bowl, they forgot to play 60 minutes. They played 38 minutes, and the Falcons took them down. Now the Saints have a division win on the road. They might get another one at home this week against Tampa Bay. We'll get to that. But were you more impressed with the fact that the Saints hung in there and got the win, or the Falcons collapsed again?
Me personally, after watching the game over, like I say, they had a 16-point lead and just gave that thing away. And like you say, kudos the last Super Bowl that they were in. It looked like the same deal with different players.
Yep.
The same scenario. You playing safe or you playing to win the game. Yeah.
So now they've dropped the game at home in the division against the Saints. They're going to go out to LA to play a pretty off Rams team. Falcons may end up 0-2, and maybe by week 4 or 5 we're putting them on the clock. But some comments in the chat. I know a lot of stuff is going on about the Raiders game. We are going to get to that. Dirty Birds took a dive. Indeed, they did. We'll talk about the Raiders game and the context within that. I know there's a lot about comments about the officiating. We'll comment as that as well, but we got a few games to get to prior to that. Cleveland went into Carolina to take on the Panthers.
Hold it up.
This is, huh? Yeah, this
no,
is
telling everybody just hold on.
Oh yeah, we'll get the Raiders.
Hold up.
Yeah. This is NFL Nation Live, not Raiders Nation Live. But we thought Carolina might win this because of the whole Baker Mayfield thing. Actually, they had the game won. The refs gave it to Cleveland, but you got to give Cleveland some credit for getting out of there, really escaping, if you will, with the win. I don't think they deserved to win the game. Carolina didn't play their best football. They'll have to play better this week against the Giants. But any surprise to you that Cleveland got out of there with the win? You guys said on this show last week that if Cleveland was going to, and I think the folks in the chat backed you up on this too, that if they were going to win the game, they're going to have to do it running the ball, and that's exactly what they did. I mean, Brissett, whatever his name is, he had some nice passes downfield, but it was the running game that ran the clock out on Carolina.
I got a question for you. Who's going to fare better, Cleveland with their backup quarterback, or the Panthers with Baker? Now, this whole revenge game, this whole Baker statement, I made some notes on it myself. I'm like, it didn't seem like they really wanted it. Now, like I say, the refs threw a banana peel, yes. But when there's a chance to close it out, that's what you do. You put a capper on it, and they didn't have enough mustard to pull it out.
Yeah, Kev's back in there. Last week he said he was going to be selling hurricane insurance, and I think he probably still will be. Matthew says Cleveland brought back their elf on their field. Yeah. I don't know if you all are following on Twitter, but there's a whole thing going on with that elf, man.
Brownie.
Yeah. I said Cleveland would win this show last week. Defense don't care about your revenge game. Yeah, well, I copy that. On the other hand, I don't think I expected the refs to really screw that Panther team the way that they did. That was kind of a bummer.
Was that a referee saying that he didn't see the refs screwing a particular team for a particular time over a particular cause?
No, that's not what I heard. San Francisco went into Chicago on the Bears. Yeah, that's what he said. But hey,
it's on tape. It's on tape. Aha.
Yeah. Put some ketchup on the. Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
I love these guys in the chat, man. That's what's making this show. San Francisco went into waterlogged Chicago, the Windy City. It wasn't all that windy. It was raining like son of a gun. the 49ers really lost the chance here to take away an early win, and that may come back to haunt them a little bit. But here's the question in this game. Are the 49ers really that bad? Are the Bears that good, or just the Bears got away with one?
I think the Bears really and honestly got away with one. I was expecting, with all that rain, I'm thinking, okay, these surfer guys from the Bay Area are going to just slide all through them. It was the other way around. And like I say, Justin Fields is proving his worth every game. This guy is going to be something to reckon with. And I'm just waiting for a certain team to get a player with that certain caliber of talent so we can go on and get another Lombardi. But like I say, that Trey Lance era, it got off to a slippery start, no pun intended. But
I know, but they're going to run headlong into a Seahawks team that we don't know how good they are yet. But if the Seahawks play off like they did Monday night against Russell Wilson, the 49ers might go to 0-2. I don't think they will, but I'm just saying any given Sunday. Power Raider, the refs gave the Chargers their first touchdown. Shaking my head. Somebody may have to clear my brain on that one. Ed,
no,
please.
I know what he's talking about, ref, but go ahead.
Okay, you guys.
Pass interference call against Hobbs, if I'm not mistaken, which was a croc. Is that the one?
No,
the DPI?
The quarterback hit when the quarterback is a runner, and then they treated him like he was
right in front of me.
Right there,
in front of me. It was such a.
I knew what kind of day it was going to be when they made that call. Listen, Justin Herbert, bless his heart, he's a great athlete. But look, when he decided he's going to run in, and then he saw Hobbs with the bead on.
I know a play you're talking about. Yeah. Look, okay, hold that thought because we're going to get to it. And Ed's comment, please comment later why the refs are so prejudiced. Okay, hold those thoughts because I do have some comments on them, like them or not. And we'll talk about the so-called prejudices in a minute. Some of that has to do with crew maintenance and training and just where we are with officiating at this point. But in any case, Pittsburgh went into Cincinnati, take on the Bengals. This game was hilarious to watch. Bengals scored a touchdown, didn't challenge it, got the ball back, scored a touchdown, missed the extra point, sent the game into overtime, missed a field goal. Pittsburgh gets the ball back, kicks the field goal. I don't think anybody deserved to win this game, but thank God it didn't end in a tie like the Colts game down in Houston, which was a freaking disaster. Pittsburgh sneaks away with the win. Who's the better team here? Cincinnati with the loss going into Dallas, or Pittsburgh with the win who's going to go home against New England?
Like you said previously, like nobody really wanted to win. Cincinnati is the ultimate winner because of some key injuries to Pittsburgh's team. Yeah, they got the W, but then they've got two of their star players that's maybe not on IR, but they're out for a limited time.
Like I said, with Najee's injury, I what's that, like about 4 to 6 weeks. Why is at least that, if not the year? And what is up with TJ Watt getting injured early in the year? Like I think the last 3 years he's been
like forever,
hobbled, if not gone early. And that's one of the better players in football, and he's gone.
Mike says the Colts cut their kicker. They should have cut the whole team, but Pitt and Bungles game was the reason most didn't see a lot of the first quarter of the Raiders game. Yeah, well, that's why they have DirecTV, but you're right, Matt. That's exactly. But when CBS National like that, and then the first game that we don't care about, so to speak, goes into overtime, that makes it a challenge. My mom was twisted about that too because she lives in Arizona. Of course, that's Cardinals territory, and she got cut off for the afternoon games on Fox and CBS. So it was interesting. TJ Watt, Torres, pec muscle. I was getting mixed reviews or mixed information out of Pittsburgh today. Was there that serious or not, or was just going to tape him up, glue him together, and maybe he'll be back in a couple weeks. But I guess a partial TJ Watt's better than a no TJ Watt, but it's this early in the season that hurts. I guess if you're going to get the win, get hurt, you might as well have it against a division opponent on the road. But Philadelphia did what we told them not to, or did what we hoped they wouldn't do, and that was go in, get the win, and not get anybody hurt. So the Eagles went in Detroit. They got a big lead. They almost blew it. Detroit came back. Detroit did that a lot last year. they'd get behind, they'd roar back, lose the game late. What were they like, 3-13 or 3-4, whatever the seven? I can't count to 17 anymore. Where's my 3x5 index card? Okay, okay. Anyway, so Eagles got the win. Lions didn't get to. I know, Cap. Lions didn't get the win at home. But you got to like what you saw out of the Eagles. 38 points on the road is not too bad to open up for week 1, right?
Like I said in last week's show, the Eagles have put together quite a squad real quietly. And, that's just a team to watch as this season progresses. I'm calling
especially
them.
with the injuries. Yeah, especially with the injuries in Dallas, right?
Yes,
I was going to say, do you see anybody else in that division even?
Right.
I mean, you got a division like ours where, sight unseen, and I know we'll get to our game later on, where you can have a bunch of winners in one division with us, but in the NFC least, and that's with an L, there's nobody pending injuries. There's nobody that's going to challenge the Eagles this year, baby.
No.
Probably not. And Damian says in there, we all picked the Eagles, I believe, and he's probably right.
Yeah.
Except maybe Rich. Rich maybe picked the Lions. He's got a giant Lions.
I like Kev's comments. Watt can come back after we beat the Steelers. I'm with you.
Yeah,
Kev.
Exactly.
Yeah. Come back New Year's Day or New Year's Eve, but that not until.
Right. Ooh, that's a long way. Indianapolis went into Houston and played to a tie. I mean, it was a division game. Houston almost got away with one. I don't have really much to say about that, y'all. It was a boring game to watch. Houston looked good on defense, like Cap, you said last year, and like the chat folks said last week that their secondary is pretty good. They gave Matt Ryan fits. I realize this first game with the Colts, but they're going to have to play better down in Jacksonville this week in another division game if they want to go to 1-0-1. That tie in Houston division game down there, that might come back to haunt them. Tiebreakers are part of the whole thing with regards to playoffs in the division. That may create some problems for them later on. Pittsburgh had a tie, I think, 2 years ago against Detroit. Doesn't matter when it's the interconference game, so to speak. Pittsburgh managed to make it anyway after a bunch of losses, but that could come back to bite the Colts a little bit. We'll keep an eye on that. New England went into Miami, and that was kind of another snoozer. The Patriots really struggled on offense. Their defense was okay. They held the Dolphins to 20 points, not bad, but you got beat. So another division loss, another team with a division loss, this time on the road for the Patriots. What's the word out of New England regarding Mac Jones? Anybody know there? I know he left the game.
Last I checked, it was a back injury. They're not disclosing much. But
I'm sorry, I don't discuss injuries to people that don't deserve an answer. It's on to whoever the hell we play next.
But coach,
I'll get to you, Bill. Shut up. Okay, go ahead, V.
No. They're not disclosing the severity of it, but like I say, with that offense struggling like it did. Now, some people like to say, "Oh, it was too hot." I heard this from the Charger game. In defense of our team, hell, everybody's hot. So we
Patriots are wearing blue jerseys and blue pants.
Yes.
I don't know. Yes. I don't know. I mean, I don't know who's there. What's going on there? It's one thing for Miami to say we're going to wear white, but who in the hell in New England said, "Oh yeah, let's go ahead and wear the blue pants"? I mean, whoever. I don't get that part, but whoever made that decision.
I'm not going to discuss things with people that don't warrant a coach response. It was blue because I had too many blueberries for breakfast that morning. I said we're going all blue. I don't want to hear anything about it. On to our next opponent.
Coach, your balls are still flat. That's all I'm saying. Back injury for Mac Jones. The Pats have Bailey somebody in Hoyer. They're good.
Bailey Zapp played decent in the preseason.
He didn't play against Pittsburgh, but okay. I don't know. We'll talk about the chances that New England has against the Steelers at home. Might be pretty good. Although Trubisky didn't look too bad throwing the ball. He was actually rolling out, hitting some people downfield. I didn't even know he could do that. Baltimore went into New York to take on the Jets. Took a little bit for Baltimore to get going, but once they did, basically just blew out New York. Not a surprise there that we've already put the Jets on the clock. We put them on the clock 2 weeks ago. Remember, this is only week 1. So Baltimore gets away with a road win, and they'll be at home this week, so maybe they'll get a little bit tougher game this week against Tennessee. Jacksonville went into Washington to take on the Commanders. This is a game Jacksonville should have won, could have won, didn't win. So another Jacksonville team that not meeting expectations. Again, I know it's only week 1, but Washington played well enough to win. In fact, they came back to win that. Carson Wentz played pretty well. They're going to go into where's Washington this week? Detroit. They're going to go into Detroit this week, take on the Lions. That'll be an interesting one. But I didn't learn a lot from that, except that
make it
except that
up. You're going to say it with the French accent, and people will go there. Detroit.
Detroit. Okay, I got to work on that, but I like
Ravens gave the Jets the rotten apple. They did. I'm disappointed in Lawrence. They have a decent, they did. So that game against Indianapolis this week at home in Jacksonville is going to be a really interesting game because the Colts didn't really play well. The Jaguars didn't play up to potential. So if both teams improve this week, that one could be a headbanger. Clams got some Miami Vice. Yeah, they did. Yeah. New England got their clam chowder to go. They didn't even put it. Carr needs to get the ball out. Yeah, don't even get me started on that. Don't even get me started on it. Carr needs to get the ball out. Nope. Shit.
Easy.
Kansas City went into Arizona, blew out the Cardinals. Cardinals scored more points than we did and a loss at home than we scored on the road. Not much to say about this. Kansas City, I don't know what to think about them, if they're scary or not, but my whole comment on that was Tyreek who.
Absolutely. Tyreek who? See, when you've got coaches, Ref, who stick to their game plan regardless of the personnel.
Well,
the media likes to hype up these superstars, and they warrant their adulation, but it's a team sport, and they still got Mahomes over there.
They do.
It's still like a wizard on the field. I call him. He plays sandlot football, and everybody can relate to that. He plays sandlot football.
Yep. Well, I don't know if Kansas City's that good. Arizona's that bad. I'm hoping Arizona's that bad. Maybe we can get a win this week. We sure need Arizona to play
until after next week.
Yeah, we still need Arizona to play like crap. But I think Kansas City, putting up 44 points, they're going to go home and play a division game tomorrow. What was the car insurance is needed? Yeah, well, that's what I said on Cap show yesterday. Is that maybe they should trade him to LA, then they can have an electric car. Okay, Las Vegas went into LA to take on the Chargers. We've talked a lot about this game. There's a lot of stuff going on in the chat. Let's go around the table real quick, and we'll start V with you were at the game, Cap. I know you were at the game. I watched the game on TV as much as I could without having a heart attack, yelling and screaming. At this point, now that we've had a couple days to digest this whole thing, what was your take on that loss in LA against the Chargers?
Me, I'll start off, Cap. I really honestly expected more, but then it showed up in the first couple of series that these guys were a step slower than the Chargers. Now, I don't know what we're preserving them for, but it shows that these guys need some live reps, not in practice, in a game. It was embarrassing, and it took them until the entire first half to really get it going. Here's my beef with the game that I saw. They didn't have a running game, or they didn't stick with it. They were trying to feature Devontae Adams. To me, I saw Renfro open on several plays that he could have gotten the ball to keep moving the chains, and they were trying to feature Devontae. He's a beast. When you see him in person, the tapes don't do it justice, but both parties have to be in sync. There was no sync in that game. And I'm going to say it right now and get it off my chest. If we don't fix the damn offensive line, we are going to have a terrible season. Period.
Yep. Couple things in there.
I'll address that as an offensive lineman. I'll do that.
Yeah. So go ahead, Cap. Tell us.
Oh
Tell
no,
us
I was going to wait for you there, Ref. You go, and then I'll go there.
All right. Well, my problem was the fact, they looked good in the first drive of the third quarter, and I wasn't sure who I was watching because compared to the rest of the game, it was just a manure pile. That said, with the O line trouble, I don't know why it wasn't obvious to everybody on the coaching staff that we had line trouble, and why were we not shortening up the pass route so that Carr could get rid of the ball? We seem to be holding the ball too long. Everything over 3 seconds, and I was counting it. Everything over 3 seconds in that game was a complete disaster. You can't expect Carr to be Tom Brady when everybody's collapsing around him. Okay, Tom Brady can't do that either. Just ask the New York Giants. So I'm still on the fence about Carr. I have been for quite a while. I want to give him the little bit of the doubt, in a like 51-49% approval rating kind of thing. But I was frustrated that with his knowledge of the game at this point, his experience, that him and his OC or whoever not call, whether it's McDaniels or whoever, not making adjustments to make it work. And I agree with V. They had the running game going and they didn't stick with it. And in a close game like that, where you have a chance to win, run the ball, run the clock, get the hell out of there. And it was frustrating to watch. I don't think they're going to fix it anytime soon. I don't think they have a lot of options. So they're going to have to decide whether or not if they're going to go with who they're going to, dance with who brung you, so to speak. Then they're going to have to change up their offensive game plan, and they're going to have to hit the holes quicker if there is a hole, and they're going to have to get rid of the ball quicker. So I'm not sure about all that. Now let's get to the officiating part of it. I know there was a lot of stuff going on there. Let's address a couple things. The biasness of the Raiders, we understand that exists. We've talked about that. There is the Raiders rule. We know that exists. I warned you last week that while Sean Smith, pretty good white at, I didn't like the line judge. Mark Hittner, is that who it was? I'll have to look it up. I didn't like the line judge. I warned you on that. We're gonna have the same problem this week with a couple people. But the a couple things came to mind. There was a lot of Twitter chatter about the face mask, the alleged face mask on Mac and Carr. That was not a face mask. We could go into a whole show about why it's not a face mask, but it's not. That said, there was no flag there, probably for a couple reasons. First of all, if there is going to be a flag, that's a referee's call. You can't judge that call based on a high definition television angle. You have to judge that call based on where the referee is on the field. He's on the other side of Carr. He's not going to see that if he doesn't see Carr's head go like this. Carr's head didn't go like this. He bumped it, but that's not going to get a flag. That said, they could have thrown holding flags on the Raiders offensive line all day. That said, they didn't throw any holding flags, I think, at all on Crosby. So what do you want? You want a whole bunch of holding calls thrown on for Crosby, or you want a whole bunch of holding calls thrown on offensive linemen? I think they laid off the flags on both sides, so we didn't have 85 flags of laundry out there. It would have been a disaster to have all those flags.
Right.
The other one that was in there was the Hobbs hit you guys are talking about on Herbert. If the quarterback or anybody else for that matter is giving themselves up, you might as well not hit him. This isn't NFL football anymore. This is flag football with helmets on. Don't hit him, anybody, if they're going into a slide. Now, the argument is during the course of the play there was the defensive back or anybody else tackle has to try to play football and at the goal line trying to make a play to keep somebody out of the end zone. In that particular case, is the letter of the law a foul? Yes, it is. Would I have thrown a flag? No. Would I have thrown the flag because it's Raiders? No. If the Chargers had made that same play, would I have thrown the flag? No, because it was not clear intent. There was not a clear intent to try to take whoever it was out of the game by smacking them. They're trying to prevent a score. That's football. It's situational football. It was unfortunate. I disagree with the flag, although in New York, they'll argue all day about this safety BS. Hey, look, if you're going to put on a helmet, put on shoulder pads and get out there, you're going to get dinged up. But I don't think I would have thrown a flag on that one. I disagree with the call. There again, it's against the Raiders. You're not going to get downgraded for a call or flag. Raiders, why not throw the flag? I hate when the ref sees a foul but no call. Well, that's true, but keep in mind that there's another element to flags in general, not specifically with the Raiders, because we understand that that's a different category. Referees or officials, not referees specifically, officials are going to take into account the game situation, folks. If some team's trailing 30-0, you're not going to get any flags. You're just not. They're not going to launder up the whole field with 2 minutes to go when some team's trailing 30-0. In the Raiders game, I understand it wasn't 30-0. I realized it was a 5-point game. That said, back to Ed's point, why is there bias and all this other stuff? A, because there's a Raider rule. B, because they change crews all the time. Every year, everybody gets basically a new crew. Now, the referee can make some requests to New York with regards to people that he wants to keep on his crew, maybe a line judge or an umpire or something, but the crews get rotated around. Between getting rotated around crews, not week to week, but year to year, and what I think is training out of 1974, this is what's going to happen. You compound all those things, and you add the Raider rule, and it's just the way it is. I'm trying to preach that we're getting away from that, but there's still people out there that don't believe that. And here's the big one: it's not so much now with the officials on the field. I had a revelation over the weekend that we've got people in New York, in other words, the officials' bosses, who are telling them what they want, and that's having a trickle-down effect. So there's still a Raider bias, maybe not so much on the field, although there is some, not as much as there used to be, but there's a big one in New York. And until that's gone, it just is what it is. So you might as well just play like a bunch of Girl Scouts, because that's the way you're going to have to treat this thing. What did I miss in the chat? We had momentum before the flag. We did. There was this play where the guard or tackle collapsed on top of Carr, and I saw Carr leg go backwards. Yeah, we know the offensive line needs to get work on that. Cap, is there anything else that I missed? And then you got the floor.
Well, yeah, I wanted to say things about the O-line. Again, yes, I am an O-lineman, and I did not stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. This is just me as an O-lineman.
So disappointed.
Yeah, I know. First off, on the flip side, like I said, Crosby was being held, mugged, and molested the entire game, and I could see him from my vantage point because of where he was lining up. Okay. Now, Jones on the other side, I take it from Coach because he was watching on TV that he said Slater pretty much had him booked all day. Well, if that's true, then Slater wins it. Jones better show up this weekend. But getting back to Crosby, like I said, he was friggin' molested. No flags. And Coach, Ref, I know you said, flags on the Raiders, flags on them. But you got to throw some if it's so friggin' obvious. If it's obvious, you got to throw the obvious ones, the ones that are maybe, okay, I'm going to give you a little bit, then okay, I give you a little bit. But if you got an obvious holding call, you got to throw it.
Whose call is that, Cap? That's your line judge and your down judge. I warned you about those idiots last week. You're not going to get calls from those clowns. You're just not. Okay. I hear you. And if I were running this show in New York, it would be different. Not because I'm a Raiders fan, because it's not fair. And the integrity of the game is at stake. Forget that it's Raiders. I don't want to forget that it's Raiders. But despite the fact that it's Raiders, the optics on this are just bad, ugly. And it's unfortunate. And I still think attrition will take care of it, but it's painful. And there's no way we as fans really can fix it. We can complain about it, and I'd like to try to explain it away. Unfortunately, there's so many components to it: the timing of the game, who the official is, all this other stuff. It's not just one thing. But I will say this: Raider fans have said for years that the officials are biased. I agree. They are. I'm going to put that to rest right now. So that gives us a platform for being able to bitch, gripe, and complain about it and not sound like a bunch of wussies, because it's absolutely true. I will go on record of saying it's absolutely true. So that said, do we like it? No. Should we fix it? Yes. Can we? I don't know. But we can educate our fan base about it, and then provide talking points so that everybody out there in the field knows that exactly what's going on. I will defend the officials when they need, but in this case they're not. And I agree with you that Crosby was held all day, but our offensive line held everybody else all day. So if I can assure you that the officials are going to get together after a few plays and go, are we going to start flagging 15 yards and just not walk off any penalties? They're not going to do that. They're not going to throw 15 yards for Crosby and then throw 15 yards on our offense and just keep marching up and down the field between the 20-yard lines with a bunch of penalties. They're not going to do that. They had a conversation about that, and they decided they were going to let it go. Okay. And that's the only thing I can tell you as to what happened, because I've been in those conversations where we said this is just going to be a flag fest, or we're just going to have to let it play and try to get the big ones. Well, okay, there weren't really any big ones except for the Hobbs one, really. I mean, there are a few others, maybe. I didn't watch the game that closely to pick on every single play, but at the same time, I can only tell you what I can tell you, and I don't disagree with you. I'm not trying to defend anything specifically, but you can't just throw flags on the Chargers against Crosby. How can you? Because here's in reality, Cap, you're right. They probably could have thrown a flag on him for every freaking play, but how is that a fair game if they're not also throwing stuff on the Raiders? If the Raiders are in fact committing penalties as well, we know they were. Just the one play against 50 who you can I mean, that was ugly.
Proper pronunciation. I like that.
Yeah. So I mean, so the whole game was ugly. So the officials just going to have to get together and say, let's try to call the big ones. I didn't see anything against Max that was so big that the number doesn't matter. I didn't see anything that was so big that it would have warranted a flag that wouldn't have also come from the Raiders sideline. And I think the referees just said we're going to have a 5-hour game, or we're just going to let it play and get the hell off the field. And it was ugly from that standpoint, but that's what it is.
Okay, I'm going to go back to I'm going to touch on one, and then I'm going to hit the offensive line like I said I was going to hit as well. The penalty on the personal foul on Hobbs right in front of me.
Yeah.
He didn't lead with the helmet.
No.
He
hit him with a shoulder, didn't he?
Over the top of him.
Yeah.
And basically it was like they were playing two-hand touch on the schoolyard.
Whose call is that, Cap? That's the back judge. And I'm not defending you at all. And I understand that it happened right in front of you. And you had as good or maybe better look than the back judge did. I'm not excusing the back judge, but that back judge is Dino Paganelli. And Dino, when he sees that a player giving himself up and another player going over the top, especially a quarterback, that close to they're just going to err on the side of caution, or they're going to get kicked out of the league. So Dino throws a flag. I want to argue that flag because the optics are ugly, but the reality is nobody's going to get that call. It was against the Raiders, which makes it look ugly, but nobody's going to get that call. Nobody's going to get that call. Well, against the quarterback. Here's my problem with it, and I explained this earlier. I agree with you, because if I'd have been, I probably would have gotten kicked out, which is probably why I'm not working on Sunday. But if that had been my call, I would not have had a flag. You got a defender trying to stop a touchdown, and for everything that you said, there was basically no contact on that call. I was livid on that call too. Not because I'm a Raiders fan,
but it was on the TV replay as well.
I know, and I was livid against that call, not because I'm a Raider fan, because it was a BS call. The problem is those plays are not reviewable.
Yeah.
Not that they should be. That's a whole different discussion, in my opinion. Is that all plays should technically be reviewed? They may not be reviewable in terms of coach interaction or challenge flags, crap like that. All plays should be reviewed upstairs, either upstairs or in New York. All plays should be reviewed.
Mhm.
How the play gets stopped for a more closer review or like a stage 2 review is debatable. But all plays should be reviewed as a matter of course throughout about the ball game. And plays like that should be reviewed. And if there's no contact, they should pick up the flag. But
Mhm.
nobody asked us. Okay, so they're not going to fix that. But when we talk about calls and the flag, we can agree or disagree on whether we agree with it or not. I'm totally fine with that, and that's part of the show because that's part of the debate, and that's what gets the fans all liquored up. And I think that's why we have this show. It's a fan based show,
Yeah.
and I try to take the fans' perspective. But when we see a call, ask yourself whose flag is that? Line judge, umpire, back judge, side judge, fifth judge, and what was their angle when they saw it? Um, and when you're at that point, the mechanic is back judge down by the goal or by the end line, right by the goalpost. And anybody giving themselves up like that, you got to teach your players, hit them with a couple hands like flag football, and then fly off the top of them, do some sort of acrobatic, gymnastic, Olympic gold 5-star bullshit, but don't fucking hit them, and don't even act like you're going to hit them. And it's hard, but this is the game now. And Hobbs, as for all the credit, he's a little hyper, and that's good in a way. But in a situation like that, you have to teach game awareness, and that's just the world we live in right now. I don't know if I helped or hurt the situation, but I don't know. That's a half-hour discussion on the Hobbs hit, but that's why we do this show.
By the way, let Mrs. Violator know that that was not my F.
Copy that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
because-
frustrated too, Cap. I'm frustrated because I'm a Raiders fan, but I'm frustrated at officials BS
Yeah.
and I'm going to call them out for that. On the other hand, I think that was Paganelli's flag, and I'm not going to argue it because he may be the top rated. If he's not number one, he's number two, and I think he's probably number one back judge out there. And they are just not going to let that go. They're just not going to let that go. And I'll bet you, I know Dino, and I'll bet you that if you got him into a conversation, he would say, "I know he didn't hit him, but we're not going to. We're trying to take that
out of the game.
out of the game." And you know,
So let them score is
when
what
you're-
you're saying.
when
Right? Let
you're
them score.
when you're well, no, but that's not football. But when you're wearing a Raiders helmet, it's ingrained in the officials that they're going to hit you when they're even not supposed to. So right off the bat, you have to realize if you're wearing a Raiders helmet, you better watch what you're hitting because they'll flag you for hitting the cheerleaders or the Gatorade cooler or anything else over there.
Well, I'd like
The
to
refs
hit a
didn't
couple
lose.
cheerleaders, but it's not the way that you would think. Well, it's the way the Violator knows what I'm thinking as far as hitting on some cheerleaders. But
Yeah.
there you go.
Well, yeah.
But-
Hitting on the cheerleaders and hitting the cheerleaders
Well,
on the record is two different things.
Never mind.
Hey, Ref,
Anyway.
do you believe Carr is the it factor with the great O line?
Great. There's an O-line segue,
Wow.
Well,
which I've been waiting on for the last 10 minutes.
the short answer is with the offense that he has now, yes. But he threw that one long pass down the seam to Adams towards the corner of the end zone, just flat out underthrew it. Now he underthrew it. What it looked like
And
to
that
me
was in
because
front
he
of
was
me,
under
too.
pressure, couldn't step into it.
Concept, yeah.
But it was underthrown and we got it picked off. That wasn't Adams' fault. So to answer your question is, would he be the it factor with an offensive line with our running game and those receivers? The short answer is yes, but I want to see better adjustments. I my concern is that maybe Derek's not given enough opportunity to maybe call his own plays. Maybe he should be calling his own plays. I don't know. Our O-line is average. I think that's putting it nicely. 2006 Carr was the it factor. He was. So we know he can do it. We know he can do it. He's got better weapons now than he had 2016, but he had a better line in 2016 he's got now. So there's the flipped coin for you.
Well, did you say O-line?
So the
I heard
quarterback can just kneel anywhere on the field. Yes, any player can give themselves up at any time. Yes, and it's not just the quarterback. Anybody who is that gets designated as a ball carrier or runner, if you will, can take a knee anywhere and give themselves up. It's really lame, but that's NFL flag football the way we see it today. Anyway, Green Bay went into Minnesota. Got beat by the Vikings.
What?
No.
I never
No what?
talked about the O-line yet, and I've been waiting 10 friggin' minutes. Now I'm going to say
I thought I'm sorry. I thought you were done. So
No.
while we're on the topic of the Raiders having played their game in Los Angeles against the Chargers, Cap, what's your take on the offensive line play?
People are talking
How's that for a
about the
segue?
offensive line, and I firmly believe that Parham is going to be playing guard real soon. He's either going to be taking – they said that they were slating him for right guard from what I've seen. But you know what? Simpson needs the most help of all of these things. I don't know if Cotton can go over to left guard, but if Parham was playing left guard in the preseason, look for that to be changed because they have it slated, and at least from what I'm hearing, Parham is going to be the right guard, and Munford is going to be the right tackle sooner rather than later. And Munford played a better game than Illuminor. He played a better game than Illuminor, so he will be the right tackle. The question is where Parham is going to be, whether they were slating him at right, but Simpson needs a lot of help. So Simpson got pushed back like a bad joke that I won't say right now. He got pushed in like a bad joke that I won't say right now. If you want to know the joke, call me on another line. Point is, with the injury to James, now comes the question as to who is going to play center this week, because James has a concussion and Parham was the backup center, but they did sign Billy Price, who is a starting caliber center. And then everybody's going to say, well, why do we keep Peronis Grasu on? And therein lies the question. If you signed Billy Price, and why did you sign Billy Price? Well, he wasn't available. So we might be getting rid of Grasu, whatever the hell his name is. And you probably have Billy Price elevated real soon. Parham is going to be playing. Mumford's going to be playing pretty soon. This little things about and McDaniel saying, well, we had 7 guys that warranted playing time is a crock of shit. I said the S word. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's a crock. Okay.
It's a big crock.
Getting that offensive line situation tuned up real soon. When James comes back, that will be done. So you will have the people elevated. Again, I would get rid of Simpson before I'd get rid of Cotton at this point, but that's just me.
Yeah.
And therein lies, now I'm done, Coach. I wanted to make sure that people knew about the offensive line. Brought to you by Captain Friggin' Jack.
No, that's good. I'm glad you did, and I didn't mean to run over you there. I just thought we were done because you have ref's amnesia. But while we're on the topic of the offensive line, on your show last night, they were talking about the fact that Osemele was back in. Is that true?
Osemele was in for a tryout,
whatever his name is,
was not signed, and I'm glad.
Okay, because just a body out there is no help. You want somebody actually good, right?
Yeah.
McDaniels looks like Ronald McDonald with his game plans. I wouldn't be dissing Ronald McDonald like that, but maybe Wendy's. Drink the whiskey, Cap. Yeah, copy that. I love it though, man. We're blowing the chat up, which is great. So
I love it. Hey.
We are going to get on. We're going to get on to week 2 after the break. Green Bay. Can I talk about Green Bay?
Oh yeah.
Not whiskey, but it's good.
Oh, Green Bay. Oh, and by the way, we're going to give away something tonight. Y'all really ought to be following us on Twitter. because during the week on Twitter is where we're going to give away the clues to what our question of the week is going to be, which is where you win the prizes. So if you were trolling us last week on Twitter, you already know what the question is going to be. If not, stay tuned because we'll get to you. Green Bay winning to Minnesota, got beat by the Vikings, a division loss on the road. Not good for the Packers. We talked about this last week. I felt like Minnesota was going to take them. Now the problem is the Bears, who are all liquored up on their accidental win in the rain against the 49ers, now have some locker room material to go back to Green Bay with, which is I own you. I'm a little worried about that one. Tampa Bay went into Dallas, beat the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys are the Raiders of the NFC. They've got all this talent, all this hype. Dak goes out there, slams his hand on somebody's helmet or whatever, breaks his thumb, and now their whole season might be down the crapper. Too bad you can't combine the Raiders and Cowboys talent-wise. Nobody would stop that. If you could pick and choose the players between those two teams, everybody else just have to get out of the way. I thought Green Bay would have number 1 ranked D. In fantasy football. We have the number 2 free cap space. I believe you're right. I think we do. We're way up there. If we don't have a lot of cap space, we're way up there, which is good. But I don't know. I don't know who's judging the talent out there in the heat. Denver went into Seattle and blew it. I can't even get started.
Let's ride. Let's ride.
Denver showed everybody how to lose on the road. You go in there, bad play calling, bad clock management, turn the ball over, and you get beat by the Seahawks, who, whatever. I don't understand it.
I didn't watch that game because
I was glad they got beat. I was glad the Broncos got beat, but the way they got beat was, you got to admit, guys, was just ugly, absolutely ugly. Although we'll take the loss, and then if we can get a win, and then between the Chargers and the Chiefs, somebody gets a loss
tomorrow night. Yeah,
you know,
that game, three-way tie, some kind of way.
Yeah,
somebody's going to be 2-0.
Yeah, right.
And then 1-1.
No, I know
1-1.
Right, yeah. But if the Chargers are 1-1, the Raiders are 1-1. And somehow Denver ends up 1-1. The Raiders are still at the bottom of the division because our loss is within the division. Well, Denver would be too, I guess. Donkeys got tossed by the Sea Chickens. That's the best way to put it, Kev. I'm gonna shut the chat off for a second. We're gonna go to a quick break. But when we come back from the break, your question for this week is, what do Norm Van Brocklin, Peyton Manning, and Tom Brady all have in common? We'll be back after the break. All right, welcome back, everybody, to NFL Nation Live. I think we pretty well closed the books on week 1, the good, the bad, and the super ugly, for all teams that had ugliness in various forms. Kind of a shame that, we don't really have a decent preseason because weeks 1 through 3 end up to be a preseason. I think Ed was asking how to follow on Twitter. You can follow us on NFL Nation Live. Is our handle on Twitter, and you follow me specifically at ref_guru. I put that in the chat, so you can check me out there. Tom Brady was not a Heisman winner. No, that's true. But that's not what they
Super Bowl dudes.
Huh?
That's the Dutchman, man. He wasn't even around in the Super Bowl era.
Right. So they all three have something in common, but it's not the Heisman Trophy. Let's see. Thanks for your input, Ref. You're welcome. Hopefully it was helpful. I think Mac was the difference in this game. Well, he was certainly a factor. We're talking about the Raiders. They are all Super Bowl winners. No. because, like Cap said, Norm Van Brocklin was not around in the Super Bowl era. You're close though. It's more unique than just that. Anyway, tomorrow night we're going to open up week 2 where the Chargers are going to go into Kansas City and play another road game against the Chiefs. Oh, I'm sorry, little ding there. Annie Agar's got nothing on us. Anywho, gonna go into Kansas City, and I got the shirt, man. Do you see her shirt? That's the ugly shirt she's got. I tried to send her a real shirt. Anyway, they're gonna go into Kansas City, play the Chiefs. I like the Chiefs at home against the Chargers. For all the stuff that happened or didn't happen or whatever happened in Week 1 for the Raiders game, this can be said. The Raiders lost. They lost kind of ugly, but the Chargers really didn't win it as much as the Raiders lost it, either because of whatever their issues were and the referees, or the officials. So I like the Chiefs at home against the Charger team. I don't think it's really that good yet. What do you guys think?
I've got KC in a tight game, but they're going to pull it out.
They all played better. They all played better in their 40s and their 20s, perhaps, but that's not it. They were born on the same day. No.
I love that too. I'm taking KC in this one. Like I said, I wasn't too impressed with what I saw from the Chargers.
No, me neither.
Sunday. So,
that's what made it all the more frustrating, right, V? We lost by 5 points or whatever. Right. It's like, really? After all the crap, the interceptions and all the flags and all the offensive line stuff, we still got beat. And that's what was frustrating is the game we could have won maybe. But anyway,
exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm taking KC, man.
Yeah. Cap, you like the Chiefs at home?
Yeah, I like the Chiefs at home. Well, I don't like the Chiefs at all. But I will take the Chiefs at home.
Power Raider, they're all brothers in Christ. Did I win? They might very well be, but no, you didn't. Sorry. Yeah, okay. I didn't know the question would be that hard. Miami going to go into Baltimore to take on the Ravens, 2 teams that won in Week 1 that are now facing off in Week 2. I like Baltimore at home. We don't really know what we got out of Miami yet. I realized that the Ravens win was against the Jets in New York, who are already on the clock. And this game's really not probably going to be a factor weather-wise, which maybe is advantage Dolphins, if you will. But I like the Ravens at home. They got the kicking game with Tucker and all that. You guys see any real way that that Miami comes out of this with some sort of accidental win? I mean, that's what it would feel like to me if they did win.
If the Ravens lost their way in that hood around the stadium, because that's not the greatest area up there in Bmore. So if somebody grabs the Ravens players, that's the only way I see Miami winning.
Absolutely, I got Baltimore too, guys.
Who's the ref? Oh, Adrian Hill's the referee for that.
Yeah.
John Hussey's the referee tomorrow. Thank God. We want to keep him away. Finns are better, but they aren't ready yet. Agreed. Miami are going to get smacked by reality. Yep. Okay. The Jets going to go into Cleveland to take on the Browns. It's a game that nobody really cares about, so to speak. Maybe the Browns do. Once again, the Jets are on the clock. I don't think Flacco is going to go into Cleveland and beat the Browns. Do you?
Cleveland. Brownie the F will be jumping up off the center of the field, tripping guys himself. Cleveland.
Yeah. I think there's an interesting one where Washington's going to go in Detroit, take on the Lions. Again, a couple of teams that won a couple of teams that played well in Week 1. Detroit didn't get the win against the Eagles, although they had a back. They're feisty at home, but they always wait till the fourth quarter to show up. So the Commander's going to be able to go in there and take care of business, or the Lions going to get the quote upset. Jets win a game nobody watches.
Yeah, wow, well, I'm going for in this one. I'm going for that Detroit grit to show up for once at home.
Okay.
It's Detroit, and I felt in your
Detroit grit at home. That's what I'm looking for.
Detroit.
Copy that.
When they're good, they're Detroit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha. Ken.
Well, hopefully the Commanders won't declaw the Cats. Indianapolis going to go into Jacksonville to take on the Jags. Jaguars. This is a Colts that was frustratingly hard to watch last week in Houston. I realize it's Matt Ryan's first game. They had to go on the road, go play a division game. They're going to go on the road again, play another division game. Are the Colts going to get better enough to beat Jacksonville? Jacksonville gotten better enough to beat the Colts? I really don't know which way to go with this one. You'd like to like Jacksonville at home. You'd also like to think that the Colts are going to, man up and take this division, but I don't know. I don't get it. If they play like they did last week against Houston, they're going to get beat. If they play like we think we can, then maybe they can come away with a 4-point win against Jacksonville. What do you guys think?
Even if it's 1 point, I got Indy in the win.
I got Indy more than a point.
Yeah.
I see your point, and I raise it, baby.
Okay.
There you go. Lions run over commodes. I'm pretty sure that's not a typo. Colts always lose they find a way to lose. Well, that's true. Colts just handed to Taylor. Well, that's what they should do. That's what they should do. But if Jacksonville think that that's what they're going to do, then they're going to say, okay, Matt Ryan, we want you to beat us deep. I'm not sure he can do that. I mean, it's starting to look like I understand now why Atlanta got rid of him. He's just kind of looking a little old to me in a Matt Stafford kind of way. I mean, Stafford didn't look that good. Maybe his arms hurt, but
good observation.
They all won Super Bowls in the West Coast. No,
I think Cool Kev might have this.
What does he say? Brock, Lynn, and Brady all-time passing yard leaders back to back. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's not the answer that I was looking for.
Oh, okay. Well, there was 3 quarterbacks. It was Norm Van Brocklin, he who shall not be named, and who was the third one?
Peyton Manning.
Well, then, yeah, Cool Kev, you got it. You didn't account for Peyton Manning, so you are wrong.
Sorry about that. Well, I'm glad they're Googling it while we're talking about all these games nobody cares about.
Good stuff.
The Bucks are going to go into New Orleans, take on the Saints. I actually like the Saints at home. I think the Bucks got away with one in Dallas. Dallas just whatever Dallas does, Dallas did whatever they don't do, and they did it really well. Now they're going to have to really do a lot more than what they don't do, and they're going to have to do it better than what they don't do. That's pretty good, wasn't it? Yeah, 2-drink minimum in here.
There you go.
But I like the Saints. I like the Saints at home. 17 appearances. I don't know which game, but I didn't see
the Gravalier.
Yeah, I got you, Cap. Yeah,
I'm taking the Saints at home.
Taking the Saints myself.
Hey, Tom Brady won last week, folks, but he's done. He's washed up. He's just not. He just doesn't have it anymore. You can see it in his eyes. He just doesn't have that I'm going to kick your ass attitude anymore. I think he's just given up, so to speak. I think he's going to play
on his ass all the time. That's
wearing him down in here.
Well, I don't know if he really likes the Bucks offense.
Changes.
They all had, they all had great coaches. Maybe no.
Denied. Just like
you guys,
you guys
are talking about. You guys that were talking about the Super Bowl, so to speak. You were nibbling around the right answer, but it's not the same thing. Brady's just playing day to day away from his wife. I would totally agree with that. Brady should listen to his wife. I totally agree with that.
No, Brady should just friggin' divorce his wife and get it over with.
Well,
it's gonna happen.
Oh, okay, you think so?
Yeah.
Well, maybe it'll happen after the Saints game. Yeah. Carolina going to go into New York on the Giants. This is a Giants team went into Tennessee, somehow beat the Titans by 1 point. This is a Carolina team led by Baker Mayfield, who had a decent 4 minutes in the fourth quarter, almost beat Cleveland. It's a game nobody cares about. Panthers get a win on the road.
I've got the Giants. I got the G-men. I was impressed with their game.
Yeah.
Like I said,
it says a lot, right?
They're locked in, man. Saquon looks like the beast he was.
Yeah.
And the line really held up. So I'm taking the Giants, man, at home.
Yeah.
That place is going to be rocking, too.
I want to take the Giants at home also, especially with the way that they beat Tennessee at home. I'm nervous about Carolina because I think their defense is pretty good, but the Baker Mayfield to me just doesn't seem like they can just hold it together for 60 minutes to win a ball game. They can hold it together for 44 minutes.
Wow.
Doesn't seem like enough. Tommy's boys significant other beat the let's go. Okay. New England going to go into Pittsburgh, take on the Steelers.
A G for G-Man, ref.
Huh?
G.
G.
Yeah.
Oh, what did I
see
miss?
that big G? That big G.
That's right.
I got you. I got you,
Since
Kev.
you didn't ask me.
Oh, gotcha. Copy that. They all hold single game passing records, maybe, but that's not the answer.
That's a good one tonight. I love it.
It's about winning.
Nope.
They're all Pro Bowlers.
They didn't have a Pro Bowl for Norm Van Brocklin there, Matt.
Well, they might have, but anyway, no, it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. Okay.
Come on, I'm ready to give away some prizes.
I know, right? Well, we're trying. Well, I could go on to another question, but let's see. Where are we? Oh, yeah, New England going to Pittsburgh, take on the Steelers. A couple teams that, struggled, if you will, in week one, but now are kind of banged up. Mac Jones is a bad back. TJ Watt is what he is. Can the Patriots go in there and run the ball, run the clock, get away with the win, or the Steelers going to be able to, the Mike Trubisky-led Steelers going to be able to throw the ball and beat the Patriots? Because I think the Steelers running game's a little bit off the kilter now. So I know the Steelers winning in Cincinnati, beat the Bengals. They all played fired up, but I'm a little worried about them this week against New England. What do you guys think?
I'm taking the Steelers because I think they have enough in their arsenal. Also, with Trubisky being mobile of foot, they've got enough to put up enough points to beat the Patriots.
Yeah. Cap's asleep. That's okay. I don't blame him.
No,
Some of these
I'm
games are pretty boring.
Bill.
Oh, huh? Oh, okay. Coach B. Sorry, I thought you nodded off there. Coach B, what's your take on the Steelers?
Well, since there's some dumb schmuck that doesn't know when the coach is about ready to talk and mumble into the microphone, I won't say this publicly because we have Patricia as an offensive coordinator, which doesn't bode well. We got Bill O'Brien back on the team, and people are second guessing me. I'm the great Bill Belichick, but if I was putting money on Vegas, I'd put it on the Steelers. Next question.
So you're not going to be able to name your boat 7 rings?
Mr. Kraft is going to buy me one after he gets involved into another sex scandal at the Wild Orchid, but shh, don't tell anybody.
Oh, I see. Well, all right.
And there you have it.
Coach B, anything about next week's game?
I don't know who we play next week yet, but it's on to whoever the hell we play next week.
Well, if we were lucky, it'd be your bye, but it's not.
No.
Who you playing? Baltimore. Ugh. Well, nothing like being.
I'm
Coach,
gonna hold
how you feel
off
about
on-
being? How are you going to feel about being 0-4? Just kidding. The assistant coaches are all in a supervisory role so they can get paid by their former teams. Mm-hmm. Pats looked really disheveled. Well, they still do. And they're still shoveling it. Coach B, it was a freaking fumble. Yeah,
Hey,
it was.
GA Patriot, I won't attest to that in a court of law. He who shall not be named because he plays for another team right now and is one of Captain Jack's nemesis, went behind the podium and lied his ass off. But between you, me, and people that are watching the show, yeah, it was a fumble.
Yeah. Your balls are still flat, Coach. Atlanta going to go into L.A. to play the Rams. I think Atlanta's in trouble. They lost at home last week against the Saints in a division game they should have won. Couldn't hold it together. They're going to face a Rams team that's got to be kind of ticked off after their primetime loss last Thursday at home against Buffalo. I don't think the Rams are going to go 0-2, much less 0-2 at home. What do you guys think?
Nah, I got the Rams on an easy one here. I don't know who scheduled that one, but Atlanta coming across country, that's that time zone thing. but the Rams are pissed off. And Mariota, am I right? Mariota will feel the pain.
Yeah, you are right.
He will feel the pain.
Okay. Damien says, been to Super Bowl with two different teams. You're very close there.
So close.
But it's not Super Bowls. Back to, I think, whose point was that? Norm Van Brocklin didn't play right. So Damien is you know that old game when your kids are playing hot and cold. Mm-hmm. You're just about to burn down, but not quite. But
now I know what it is now, and I didn't know what it is, but now I know what it is.
Rams by 21. Ed says, I would say that's putting it nicely.
So kind, Ed. You're so kind.
I wouldn't be surprised if that game is like 31-13.
But here's the thing.
But Falcons do have a good kicker.
I guarantee you Fox won't change that. They won't switch from that game.
So Ed says all won a championship.
Yes,
Ed,
but
you're half right. You're half right. They have beat their old teams. Yeah, maybe. You guys are really getting close. Cincinnati,
I didn't know the answer before, but now I do. It's obvious to me.
There you go. Seattle gonna go into San Francisco, take on the 49ers. I don't know what we've got here. We've got a Seahawks team that's really fired up. Yeah, Falcons kicker in fantasy is gold. Whatever is who, whatever his name is. Because I can whack the pig. Okay, they're going to go into San Francisco, take on the 49ers, the Seahawks team that was all liquored up to beat Denver. They did that. And after the game, Seattle was saying, part of the reason why we beat Denver was because we knew Wilson's audibles. And I'm like, well, you spent the whole offseason and you're still going turkey trot on 3. I mean, couldn't you change it to chicken shit on 4? I mean, seriously. So if that's the case, they're not going to get audibles that they know against San Francisco, who's going to be going home with still some people dinged up. Got to be twisted about their loss in the rain against the Chicago Bears. I don't think Seattle is as good as they think they are, even though they had a 1 point, all fired up win against the Broncos at home. I think they get beat by San Francisco this week, and probably pretty good. What do you guys think?
Won't be the same. We won't have a double take of last week. I'm taking San Francisco and that defense to control the game.
Okay, I'm going to make an official ruling here that GA Patriot isn't exactly right, but close enough for the win. That
I was
person
pointing.
It says all 3 won championships with more than one team. Yes, and that's basically the answer. They are the only quarterbacks in NFL history to win championships with 2 different teams. Okay? Van Brocklin won championships with the Rams and the Eagles. Peyton Manning, of course, with the Colts and the Broncos, and Tom B.
Don't say it!
I didn't try not to. That other guy that fumbled won, of course, with the team that wears wears all blue in Miami, and now with the fake Pirates. Did I get part of that right?
Yeah.
So, GA Patriot, whoever you are, send your shipping information to NFLNationLive@gmail.com. You have won an autographed book. You've won Violator's book, The Walk. If you have a copy, we'll get you a different book. But if you don't have Wayne's book, you should have Wayne's book. It's a great football book. Whether you're a Raiders fan or not, doesn't matter. It's a great football book. You've won an autographed copy with that. I'll put in the chat. Oops, not on my Excel sheet. I'll put in the chat where I want you to send your information.
And I'll send you a bonus patch too, GA Patriot. If you send me your address, in case you can't get it to them, I'll send you a bonus Captain Jack patch. And okay, there's the address. So send your stuff to them and send me your address, GA, and we'll get you a patch, or I can present it to you in Jacksonville.
Nice. Oh, you going to Jacksonville?
Yeah, and GA is going to be there.
Oh, nice. Right on.
Good
Well,
deal.
congratulations. That's a great book. You're going to love it. Just one of the many prizes we're going to give away. We're going to give away Amy Trask's book, You Negotiate Like a Girl. Brian Gucci wrote a book, Grass is Always Greener, went to 500 plus NFL games. Wayne, I need an autographed copy. Please let me know cost and I'll sell it to you. Well, Ed, you can pay for it, or you can hang out for another couple weeks and win one on the show. Got to go to church. Thank you, fellas. Yeah, okay. Well, enjoy prayer meeting
Appreciate you.
or whatever is going on. Thanks for joining the show. Cincinnati going to go into Dallas and play a beat-up Cowboys team. I like the Bengals on the road after their loss at home against the Steelers. What you guys take on that?
Cincinnati.
Give me the Stray Cats strutting in Dallas.
Right on. Love it.
That one.
What? Yeah, Stray Cats. That's
Stray
funny.
Cats strutting. I love it.
The Houston, I couldn't beat the Colts at home. Texans going to go into Denver. I couldn't beat the Seahawks on the road. Broncos, I think the Broncos will probably rebound. I don't think Houston's got enough to hold Denver back for 60 minutes. What do you guys think?
No brainer. Denver all day.
What is it? Donkeys and who?
Houston.
Houston.
Texans.
And it's where in Denver, right?
It's in Mile High. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. That clinches it. It's got to be Denver.
So Damien is like, well, I said Damien's like what he said. He
that
said,
close,
I said,
that close. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was pretty close. But Damien, you hang in there, buddy, because for all of our followers that are faithful to us during the course of the year, we'll find some way to accidentally win you guys some prizes. So just hang in there.
Yeah.
It'll all be good. Cooper Rush beats the.
And by the way,
Cooper
Damien
Rush
is
beats the
gentleman
Bengals?
that has the Raiders Baby rap song.
Oh.
Cool Kev still smoking. What? Kev says Cooper Rush beats the Bengals.
No.
Okay. I'm not sure what that means, but
Cooper Rush.
doesn't Cooper Rush? Who does Cooper
Oh,
Rush?
the quarterback.
Cooper
That's
Rush is
Dallas's quarterback.
quarterback.
Got you. That's Dallas's quarterback.
Oh, Dallas's quarterback.
Yeah.
Wow, that should have been the trivia question.
Yeah.
Who's the backup quarterback for Dallas? Okay. Cooper Rush beats the Bengals. Okay. I don't know. Texas
Kevin,
barbecue the donkeys
Kevin,
for the
you
upset.
smoked
Oh,
again.
yeah,
Ooh,
he's got some seriously high quality Colorado weed there. Love them. I'm going out to get one eventually. Okay. Excellent. All right. Arizona is going to go into Las Vegas to take on the Raiders, the Cardinals team that at home lost in their blowout to the Chiefs, but scored more points than the Raiders did in their loss in Los Angeles against the Chargers. Can we rebound and get a win against an Arizona team that really has a banged up defense? I mean, this is really our defense against their offense more than it is our offense against their defense. It should be our offense against their defense, and we should be able to put up 50 points. The problem is we can't block anything. So how do you beat a team that has a banged up defense when you can't play offense?
Run the ball.
Okay.
I'm taking Vegas for their home opener. Don't come in there and drop a pile of dunk on Allegiant Stadium field.
Okay. Are you going to the game?
I would be front and center watching.
Cap, you going to the game?
I'll be there, and it's going to be a lot of this.
It's upside down, but okay. What is that?
That's up. Yeah,
It's not up.
it's right.
No, it isn't.
Okay.
It ain't upside down.
What is that?
Yeah,
That's
Josh
Josh
Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs.
Josh
Okay.
Jacobs. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Beat him up. And Chandler, show
I hope
up.
you're right.
Show
Yeah,
up
what the heck?
and show out.
He was like Casper the Ghost last week.
You know, take your
Chandler
sheet
Jones
off
kick-
or whatever it is, brother. Put a black cape on and call for the MASH unit to come get these
Well,
Cardinals off the field.
if he can't give them some intel on Kyler Murray, then I think that we wasted that big.
That's what I'm watching.
Chandler Jones kicks Murray in the shins. Raiders win cup, of course. Yeah. Jacobs and Zeus. Yeah. Okay. We're going with the Raiders at home against the Cardinals. I like that. Chicago going to go into Green Bay, take on the Packers. This is a team that Aaron Rodgers admits that he owns on the football field, not in a monetary way. Is that going to come back to bite him this week? This looks like a Packer team that's really just doesn't know what happened to him after Devontae left.
You know what? I got too much faith in that coaching staff. Of course, you got A-Rod. You got for Green Bay. I'm taking Green Bay at home. Forget what happened last week. Chicago can be on a high, but the field won't be wet, and they won't be sliding doing the rain man on the field.
Yeah.
Green Bay at home.
Yeah. Well, you gotta like I like the fact that it sort of looked like the old Gale Sayers days. There wasn't the mud, but it was kind of a fun one to watch in the rain. And the players were having fun. You know, the 49ers weren't having any fun, but the Bears were beating the 49ers. They were having fun. It was just kind of cool from that standpoint.
Well, play that tape back and enjoy it because it won't be that way come with Green Bay. Packers.
Copy that. Cap, you like the Packers at home?
Yeah, I was gonna say cue up. Who does the song "Shake It Off"? The one of the bimbo singers.
Don't know.
Oh yeah,
that doesn't narrow it down for me, but
yeah. Well, one of the bimbo singers say "Shake It Off." Take a bimbo.
Man, I got you, Cap. But Rev, you're killing me, man. Yeah, but.
Hey, you can't come on the show and have not have any laughs. I mean,
hey, look, I don't know, man, but I got you, man. But no, Pack for real, man.
Yeah.
And on that note, Leatherwood was put on a non-football injury.
NFI.
Yeah, they don't know what the hell it is, or they won't tell us.
Oh, you mean for the Bears?
For the Bears.
You talking about plywood?
Same patterns taking place up there. It don't matter.
Yeah, but it's cheap.
Plywood,
but it's cheaper up there, V.
Yeah. I hope that check lasts a long time, and you need 4 years to get vested.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just it's not a 401k. It's just a 401. Yeah. Tennessee going to go into Buffalo and take on a Bills team that's had plenty of rest and a win in Los Angeles. Now they may get a win against an AFC team at home. I think the Titans are in big trouble here. I think the Bills are just angry, and I'm off the Ryan Tannehill bandwagon at this point. You can hand the ball to Derrick Henry all you want to, but you can't beat a fired up Bills team at home. I don't think. What do you guys think?
I got Buffalo at home. It's got nothing to do with how mad they are.
It is pleasant.
Henry is still in the cold tub as we speak. He got beat up in that game, and Buffalo, like I say, Tannehill, who's his backup?
I don't know.
That should be a
Cooper Rush,
and you have to have it without Googling it.
Yeah,
Cooper Rush. Oh, yeah,
but I
don't know.
I got Buffalo in a laugher.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the first Monday night game. So the Chicago Bay game is the Sunday night game. There's 2 Monday night games this week, about 4:30 Pacific on the first one and 7:30 the second one. So first Monday night game, Tennessee at Buffalo. That's the early game, both on ESPN. The second Monday night game, Minnesota going to go into Philadelphia, take on the Eagles. So Vikings going to take a medium-sized trip to Philadelphia, play a late game against the Eagles. I know the Vikings looked good. I just think they're going to be tired. You like the Eagles in this one at home? I'd like to like Philadelphia at home.
I don't like to like them. I love them at home.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for the shipping info. V, I'll get that over to you. So that we can get his book out. By the way, for the Raiders game this week, we have Clete Blakeman. What's the over-under on his crew? So Blakeman's the referee. Tab Slaughter's the U. He's all right. Dana McKenzie's the down judge. Okay with that. Julian Mapp is the line judge. No clue who that is. I don't know the field judge, Terry Brown. The side judge, Lovan Pham, is a rookie. The back judge is Perry Paganelli, which is Dino's brother. So Perry, a little more biased than Dino. I don't think it's enough to cost us, but my problem is with the side judge, Lovan Pham. Not so much to be biased, but he's a little overzealous. He's a rookie. He's just trying a little bit too hard on everything. And I think when you're playing the Raiders and you're trying to show your crewmates that you can handle a Raiders game and admit it, this is not a game that really should get out of whack because it's the Cardinals. I mean, it's a interconference game. It's not like it's Pittsburgh or Kansas
Yeah.
City or whatever. So there's a little bit of a off sense, if you will, from that. But the guy's just a little too zealous for me. Hopefully, he won't overstep. But if we're talking about a call next week, you guys keep an eye out on who threw it, side judge or field judge,
I
because
would
it
definitely be
matters.
on that. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if we get flags down in there, um, let's remember whose flag it was. Because remember whose flag it is and the why and all that matters. We spent pretty good time on that.
I'll take some notes.
Was it Vikings give the Eagles a purple
A
cheesesteak?
purple cheesesteak. Yeah.
Negative.
Redbirds are
Negative.
Redbirds are NFC soft. Yeah, I would say at this point that the Redbirds are not even angry. I don't know what they are, but they're certainly not even close to being angry.
They're
There
not
aren't
even
any birds out.
bemused. They're not even bemused. That's the word of the day, bemused.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I'd ask you to spell that, but that's okay.
Bemused.
Okay. You're too sophisticated for me on this show, Cap.
De toi,
Hey,
sophistication.
that's
I
come on,
felt
Ref.
in
That's
your
what
general
we're about,
direction.
man. Hey, just enlightening our audience with some stuff that you won't hear anywhere else.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it was a good discussion. Like I said, we're just trying to educate folks on the reality of what's happening, and it's just my opinion. But I don't know of anybody else that'll actually give you that type of scoop from that standpoint, especially
No
if
way.
for those that haven't been there. Because I had a little chatterbait, if you will, against somebody on Twitter was giving me grief because they had the screenshot
I saw
of
that.
you can certainly tell that from Khalil Mack is holding, or I'm sorry, 50 who, has a face mask on Derek Carr. And I'm like, well, first of all, you can't tell anything from a
Snapshot.
still shot. He's like, oh, you could clearly see it's a face mask. No, you can't tell anything from a still shot. Second of all, you can't tell anything from your high definition television viewpoint when you're not on the field, know what angle somebody has or they don't have. So whatever.
Say that again, because I like the fans. I mean, the audience to hear that. It's all about the angles and where these guys are.
The angles that you see now, like, and back to Cap's point, because that thing on Hobbs was right in front of him. I agree with that. So there's an audience aspect to that. That said, though, Cap, you're still what, 30 feet, maybe 20 feet, something, whatever,
20
higher than the
maybe.
back judge. I tell you what, when you've been down on the field and you're looking at these plays at field level, and you have 22 guys that are all in there with the potential to block your view from all these things, or your brain takes one split second to think of something else instead of your key and what you're doing for that 7 seconds on that play, you're going to miss a call. You're going to miss a lot of stuff. And in the case of the Raiders Chargers, where it's just kind of sloppy meet sloppy.
That flag was out so quick. It was almost like he was anticipating throwing it. That was
I was surprised that the flag didn't actually hit the player. Yeah, but again, a player's giving somebody up. But again, I just don't like the optics. You're trying to stop a team from scoring, and
right.
then the player gives themselves up at the very end. How are you supposed to stop that? So again, the player, I agree with Cap, didn't hit the player. Again, if it had been me, it wouldn't have been a flag. And it's not because it's a Raider thing. It's because it wasn't. But the league has said, we're going to take that out of the game. Phantom call or not, it is what it is. So at this point, you just got to get two hands out. You got to get them down by contact and call it a day. But it's hard, especially down there by the goal line. But that's their philosophy. And remember, if the good officials are officiating to the philosophy that the league has put out, and let's just give Dino, the back judge, the credit for this one play and this one time throwing the flag for what they have been mandated to do. That's not on the official. That's on the league and the coaches and the safety committee and Every competition committee and the Players Association and everybody else who has said we're going to take that out of the game, and they're now and they've dictated that to the officials. They really don't have a choice at this point. The
Well,
officials have to throw that flag.
Dino needs to be McCringleberry.
I'm sorry, what?
Dino needs to be McCringleberry then.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Three pumps.
Yeah, maybe. I don't disagree with you. And the other challenge is that even if I was vice president of officiating, I could argue the point that I just made to you for everybody. Yeah, they are patty cake.
I love that, Matt. Patty cake.
Yeah. At least gives the refs 3 pumps. You will get. Yeah. Well, you should give them. Yeah, but ref makes sense that game speed is different than slow mo or snapshot. It absolutely is, especially at the NFL level. And I'll tell you guys. And I've admitted, V knows this, I've admitted this from the very word go. I never adjusted. I didn't have a lot of time, granted, but I never adjusted to NFL speed. When I did my very first JV game way back, I thought, oh my God, these junior high kids are so fast, I'm never going to be able to keep up with the game. Then I went to high school and I thought, oh my God, these high school kids are so fast. I'm never going to be able to keep up. I went to junior college and I went to Division I. Same thing. Every time I made a move up, I didn't think I would be able to adjust to the speed, but I did. In fact, after doing Division I went back to a high school game. I almost fell asleep because I thought, God, these guys are slow. When I got to the NFL level and they saw the speed, and remember, this is a training camp. This wasn't even game speed. Okay. I'm thinking, wow, these guys are fast. I'm never going to adjust. I never did. Now, I wasn't really there long enough to probably adjust, but that frightened me, guys, because I thought if I can't adjust to this, I'm not going to be able to be in position. I'm not going to be able to make these calls. I'm not going to be able to do the job. So having been there and seen these angles and seen all this stuff, it's a hard job. Some of the officials are bad at it, unfortunately, but the good ones, they're pretty good. But in the case where Dino throws a flag because the league has said we're going to take it out of the game, you're just going to get the flag. Whether you hit him or not, it really isn't even arguable at this point.
Right.
Unfortunately. And the fact that it's Raiders makes the optics look even worse. But it is what it is.
True, it is what it is.
Let's see. Team finishing up 4th place, AFC West could win in most NFC division. Okay. Let me repeat that. Team finishing 4th place in the AFC West could win most NFC divisions. You're absolutely right.
Wow.
You're absolutely right. Maybe we should advocate. Maybe we should advocate for realignment. No, just kidding.
No. Then we would get no.
I think that was exactly my point.
No.
Yep. That was exactly my point.
Stop it. No.
All right. Let's go around. I'm going to close the chat, y'all. Thanks very much for joining us again this week. We really appreciate it. Cap, thanks again for simulcasting on your channel. I appreciate that very much. Let's go around the table real quick. Your thoughts, wrap up week 1, week 2. What's on your mind, B?
I just want to see some grit from my team. Okay, we got the rust out of the way. We had 60 minutes of rust. Now let's see 60 minutes of fury and go dominate the Cards like we should, and just show some moxie and come out with some urgency. Don't wait till the 3rd and 4th quarter to start really playing intelligent football. Let's go.
Yep. Cap, what's on your mind?
Well said by the one and only Violator, and well stated. It's going to be great to be out in Vegas for a home game. And like I said, they worked it out. They had an extra preseason game that that actually is in the standings. But now you got the hitting done.
Yep.
You got the wear is off. The shock is off.
Right.
You got to go out against any NFL team.
Yep.
Can beat you.
Yep.
But you need to show what you're made of, because again, I'm not dissing on the Chargers, but we should have won that game.
We absolutely should have won that.
Now you need to make sure that you do win that game, because dropping 0-2 is not a good look for a team that had high expectations this year. Let's go out and kick that ass.
Yep. Let's go out and get the win. Absolutely. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us for our week 2 show. We'll be back next week, and we'll talk about week 2, close it up, get you ready for week 3. And before you know it, we're going to be a quarter or so our way through the season. It goes so fast, but these shows are great. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate your support. Follow, like us, and share, and all that craziness on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter. If you won a prize tonight, thank you very much. We'll continue to give those away. If you're going to the game, safe travels. Cheer like crazy. I'm sure if we have any more stuff, you'll probably hear me cheering through the television. If you listen really closely, I'm pretty sure you'll hear that. Yeah, win mugs, T-shirts, books, all kinds of craziness. So, thanks for the advertisements there, guys. And man, it goes by really quick. But looking forward to it. We'll see you next week. Cap, you're supposed to do your.
I know. I'm waiting. Yeah, I'm going to surprise people sometimes.
Love you, brother. Love you. Yes, sir.
Nope, that's not better. I did that last week. You'd think I could
Hey, it doesn't
figure
matter.
out.
That's
Well, I get so caught up in the show, I forget to set up the.
That's it. Get that music going.
Where were we? Oh yeah,
Wait. That's twerking music.
Get the music going. Yes, sir.
Oh man, it was such a good
Hey,
show.
where else you gonna get it, brother? Hey,
Nowhere.
raw and
Fine.
uncut.
Except right here.
Raw and uncut, right here.
At least I proved I was wearing shorts again.
Ah,
Raider shorts too, probably.
Well, they were gray.
No, well, you know.
true
Goes with
blues,
black.
baby. True blues.
Let's get the hell out of here. See you next week, everybody.
Take care.
Love it.